Hello there, and welcome once again. Well, okay, let me just start over because I've already made a mistake. Welcome to technically episode 1, because the last one was episode 0. What do we decide on that? Have we talked about, do I? What, could you? I don't know. Let's just say that this is episode 1. Not the Phantom Menace, guys. Come on. You will find no Jar Jar here. Except you might, actually, if you were going to find him anywhere. Probably with me. He's me. Wait, I'm not Jar Jar. Get out of here, Obi-Wan. Anyway, hello again. I keep saying again. Look, let's just move on. This is the story of a girl, except it's about me. So scratch the girl thing. I have so many triggers, like verbal triggers, that I can't get through a single sentence. It's pretty embarrassing. I don't know what to call this yet. I have some fun names. I don't know. I want to call it something fun, and I don't know. Well, you'll see what it's called when you've clicked on it. So you know before I do, technically. You time-traveling son of a gun, you. What do you guys think about time travel? If you could, would you? Like everyone says, like, oh, you go back in time and you shoot Hitler right in his little face. Or like, why don't you go back in time and, like, tell Hitler that his paintings are good and, like, that Jewish people are okay. I don't think it would be that hard to just not kill somebody. I don't know. What do I know? But then if you... I can't believe it's a minute in and we're talking about time travel. If you go back and make Hitler okay, what does that do to the world? Like, we're just going to have some other big war, right? Who knows? We're just all going to die anyway. Nihilism. Let's just be done. I don't know. Let's move on from time travel. Okay, let's not. What's your favorite time travel movie? Mine's Army of Darkness. Yeah, that counts. It's the best. Also, favorite movie? Also Army of Darkness. Sure, there's time travel. There's also chainsaws and deadites and boomsticks. And Bruce Campbell, the man. Speaking of Bruce Campbell, have you seen the movie Bubba Hotep? If you haven't, you should. It's a weird little movie where he plays an aged Elvis who says he's the real Elvis and he's in like an old person home. And he keeps telling the people, like, I'm the real Elvis. And they're like, sure thing, buddy. Haha, here's your pills. And it turns out, well, I won't say what, but he has to fight a mummy. Isn't that great? He's elderly Elvis fighting a mummy. That's pretty good, right? So, from time travel to Elvis fighting mummies, if you could take anyone to, if you let me rephrase this. If you had to fight a mummy, who do you want with you? I think Elvis is pretty good. Like, he was in the Marines or some branch, and he was, or Navy. Was he in the Navy? I kind of picture him like in a little sailor suit, and he's going, I think Elvis is a good choice if you're fighting a mummy, to be honest. He's got some, he did like the judo or the karate for a while. Like, there's some really funny pictures of him in like weird, like karate, like gis. And he's like a little overweight. It's pretty fun. I think Elvis is a good choice if you're fighting a mummy. I'm trying to think who, I mean, obviously I would pick Bruce Campbell just so I can hang out with Bruce Campbell, not in a bathroom. Unrelated. If you know me, you know that story. If you don't, well, maybe I'll tell it sometime on here. If this continues. I should mention, I am driving, and there will be a ton of probably wind noise. So, like, again, if you listen to the first one, this may not even see the light of day because it's unlistenable. So I'm going to see how bad the audio is and see how bad the wind noise and the thumping and the turn signaling and the me slamming into things and, you know, road rage. It could happen. It will happen, I'm sure. Road rage. How about road rash? I talked about that in the first episode. Total link. Road rash. Sweet chain whips. I'm hyped about that game. There's some new Road Rash, like, rip-off sort of game. I don't know if it's out yet. It might be on early access or something. I forget what it's called. But it's essentially like, remember how cool Road Rash was? I want to say maybe even it's from one of the original devs of Road Rash. Which, like, at this point, what does that even mean? Like, you made this Sega Genesis. Whatever. I mean, it's a great game. I love Road Rash. I think Road Rash 2 is my favorite. I still remember the tracks and the music and just everything, the sound effects. Like when you when you win, if you get a good place, it shows those little videos. Well, I guess it shows a little video anyway, but it shows like these little scenes where your guy is doing something. And if you get first place, your guy is like, oh, it's not even in the scene. I think it's in the game. If you cross the finish line as first, your guy goes, yeah, 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 yeah. And he's like just pumping his fists over and over and like not steering his motorcycle. But I love the, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so awesome. It's just the same single noise repeated over and over on that amazing Genesis sound chip. Drink time, hang on. That is some high quality H2O. Driving past some nice forest. It's March officially, and I'm just seeing some nice. And there's no leaves on the trees, and it's like you can kind of see further into the woods than you normally would. And it's like I always think, A, Evil Dead, but B, I would love to film something or like take photos out in the woods. Like I need to just go into the woods for a while. Do you ever feel that? Do you ever feel like you just need to go into the woods and like look around, be in the quiet for a little while? I feel like I get some good like creative ideas if I just wandered into the woods. And I feel like I did that as a kid a lot. I haven't wandered in the woods as an adult in a long time. Something I should probably do. Maybe. But that means you gotta go outside. And I'm not really down to go outside. What's fun to do outside? I don't even like to like go to the pool anymore. Like we have like a public pool in my town that's just full of like screaming kids. But was it always like that? And I just didn't care before because I was a screaming kid? It's a good question. Does the pool actually suck, or am I just a grump? Adult Swim is great because you get to like all the kids are staring at you like with such hate in their eyes because they want back in that water, and you're just like you and like two other people are just kind of like swimming, doing a backstroke. This tickle, stop it. I like to swim. I haven't gone swimming in a long time. The only time I'll go swimming is like on vacation in a hotel after Steve goes to buy a new swimsuit every year because we didn't think we would go swimming, and then we see the pool and we're like, let's go swimming, it looks good. Steve equals Steffi Pie, by the way. I don't know, depending on who you know. Yeah. What about this game, Kingdom Come Deliverance? Doesn't it seem like there should already be a jillion games like that? But it's kind of unique. It's kind of its own thing. It's like Skyrim without the magic or the dragons, and it's trying to be like a realistic, like medieval simulator. I think that's cool. But doesn't it seem like there should have been like a jillion of those, like World War II shooters, kind of the same deal? I don't know. It just seems like there should be a ton of those, and I can only think of one or two that are even close. Like Mountain Blade, which is fun. It's a little... It doesn't have the depth... Well, that's wrong. It does have depth, but it's a different kind of depth. Johnny Depth. What about... Hang on. I don't know. This cough is... it's just not cooperating. I think drink time. Drinking. Okay. Lots of slurping sounds. I got the mic really close to my face. Maybe I'll try to cut some of that out so it's just not gross. I hope you're not eating while you're listening to this. I don't know. Lip smacking and me clearing my throat. It just seems gross. And now I've called it out. I wonder if I should just edit this. Anyway. It's a nice cloudy evening. There was a little snow today. And I kind of miss just wandering out into the snow. Kind of the same back to the woods thing. Have you ever been in the woods and it's snowing and it's like there's a lot going on visually, like the snow is falling, but then it's so quiet. It's like everything is even quieter than normal. Something about the snow muffles it, I guess. I don't know exactly, but it's a weird mix because it looks like there should be a ton of noise because you're seeing all the snowflakes fall. and they're going nuts, flipping and zipping, but it's just quiet. We stayed up pretty late last night watching Unsolved Mysteries. We've been working our way through. Amazon has this like collection of season 1 Amazon season 1 Amazon. What? It has this collection of like it goes by seasons, but I don't think it's the actual season 1 of Unsolved Mysteries. I don't really know how it works because it's like this. A lot of the cases are solved, so like they'll show a segment, and then they'll go update. We got the guy. 5 minutes after our broadcast, Jeremy was caught at a McDonald's, whatever it was, and so clearly it's not like episode by episode the original series. It's its own. Yeah, I don't know. It's part of me likes that more because some of these cases like you really get that closure that you want, and I get invested into some of these too. And then some of them, they won't have the solved thing, and you'll go, oh my god, hang on, and I have to Google this, and I'll look up the case, and it's crazy because it becomes not just a TV show you're watching, but then you're reading about actual details of a murder or like a disappearance or a crazy thing that happened. It's real. It's like, isn't that crazy? It just feels so strange. And then some of them are just like heartbreaking. You find out, oh, this person was never found. Like, oh, our dad wandered out to the hardware store and never came home. No body was ever found, and he was sighted living in this other town. Like maybe he has Alzheimer's or something, and he's just gone. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. But yeah, it's kind of cool though. And some of them you look up, and then since this show has aired or whatever, it's been solved. Love that. I love when and like especially when justice is served. Oh, baby, feels good. Feels real good. And like Robert Stack, some of the things he says, he like pronounces and enunciates everything in such a way, and like he's always in these weird like walking down steps in front of some kind of government building, like a vague government building, and then he always stops and the camera frames his head with a street light behind him just to be more mysterious and Robert Stack like. I love that. As a child, Unsolved Mysteries was a huge thing for me. The theme music alone. You hear the theme music and you get the chills. It's amazing. It's terrifying. It does what it's supposed to do. Oh, I loved it. And that show was creepy because it was real. And you at the end he goes, oh, maybe some of these will, forever be mysteries, but maybe some of these can be solved. Maybe someone has the answers. Maybe it's you. And you're like, oh my god, do I? I never did. And that reminds me just randomly, drink time. That reminds me randomly, I remember watching it at my friend's house, Matt. I recently played, he's still my best friend. I grew up with him. We're really good buddies. I remember being at his house as a kid, and we watched it. And then, unrelated, that same night though, we played Frogger. His uncle had given him an actual Frogger arcade machine, like the actual cabinet, and just put it in his room. And for the first couple weeks, it was like incredible. I couldn't believe we had Frogger. We had Frogger access. And for a while, we played so much Frogger. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks went by, and it's like, I'm kind of done with Frogger. You can only do so much frogging. You get tired of it, There's only so much froggering you can do. Frogging it up. But as a kid, you can, like, I think even the amount of Frogger that we played is insane. Like, even thinking of playing Frogger for more than 20 minutes boggles my mind. I mean, really, honestly. When's the last time you sat and played Frogger for longer than 5 minutes, a life or two? And then went, that's it. Games like that, like, you can't win. Really, you're not gonna win, even if you do well. You can always shoot for a high score, and that's fun, kind of like pinball. So I get that, but like you're not really gonna sit. It's just why would you? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe someone could change my mind, but I don't feel like I'm gonna sit and play a Frogger for that long. I don't know. I, that's a tough one. Even some of those old, like Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo games, I don't know how. Like, I'd just go, yeah, I'm just gonna get halfway through and die. Like, why even play it? Now, some of those are great. Like, I love like just randomly gonna throw some out there, like Streets of Rage or like even like a Sonic the Hedgehog. Sure, I might not. Ooh, I might not. I might not complete it. I might not complete it while I'm playing it. I might just sit down and I don't know, make some progress and get halfway through and die. But I don't know. Those games are the same but different. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying even. I do love those games, and especially like having having them be co-op. That's magical. The fact that you can play it with a friend, that makes it much more playable, in my opinion. So even something like Battletoads, where you're not going to win, come on, unless you have all the money in the world to pump those quarters in, you're not going to win. But it's fun to play with a friend. I in the last year I played Golden Axe arcade with a friend, and we played through the whole thing. It didn't take too long, and it was such a fun experience. I would love to do that again. Uh, that was at our local. Well, I say local. There's a pinball place, and they have arcades and things, and I played that among many other things. The new Star Wars pinball, I played that recently. The new Star Wars pinball is amazing. It's incredible. It's a Stern machine, and I'm not a pinball expert, but I'm a pinball lover. So I have opinions. They might not be expert opinions, but I do have opinions. So forgive me if you're like a pinball wizard and I say something really dumb. But I feel like the new Sterns have been fantastic. The first time I played one, I was like, this seems a little like the playing field's a little smaller. It's it's kind of tightened up, and they have a certain feel to them, unlike the tables of pretty much any other decade. And I currently own a Bride of Pinbot, the actual machine, and like just compared to the Bride, any of the new Stern machines are much smaller. The playing field's a little more narrow, and they have a certain feel to them. You'll know if you play one. But I love it. They're new. I've played the newer Star Trek. They have Ghostbusters, which is great, but I suck at it real bad. I like the Tron table a lot, even though it's super simplistic. It's very pretty to look at, and I just have a good time playing that machine. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those machines I like. There's also what's that other one? There's another Stern. Oh, what is it? It doesn't matter. The new Star Wars, though, that's the one. I love it so much. It's incredible. I can't wait to play that again. I just love it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm sure if whatever this is continues, these broadcasts, if these continue, I'm sure I'll talk a lot about Star Wars. And maybe I'll even get really in depth on something. Just my love for Star Wars is insane. It's just one of those things you grew up with, and it's just one of those. So, I don't know. There are very few things in my life that are as deeply connected to me as Star Wars is. Like, I think about Star Wars every single day. I think about Evil Dead every single day, like Army of Darkness, every single day. There aren't a whole lot more. There are some things that I really love. Like, I'm such a nerd. I have an obsessive brain, I think. Like, horror movies. I'll watch the movie 6 times and listen to the commentary and watch all the making of and, like, learn all the secrets. I don't know why. My brain just loves it. I don't need that knowledge or information for anything. I just have this weird love of horror movies and specific ones, but I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. And that's also my go-to genre. Like, if I sit down with Steve or Steffi, whoever you want to call her, I'm gonna refer to her as Steve on here because it's just easier to say. If I sit down with Steve and we're just sitting on the couch, not sure what we're gonna do, but we know we're gonna watch something, it's gonna be horror every time. Even if we don't want to watch something too serious, we're gonna pick a horror. If we want to watch something funny, we'll try to pick like a bad horror, like a movie that's. It's hard to judge these. Like, sometimes they're just terrible, but there are some that are like so sincere, but still fall so flat, and they become hilarious. Like something like Birdemic or Manos or like any of those weird, like, amazingly campy, bad horror movies. They're so great. I love those. Those are like my go-tos. Like I'll look at a movie on Amazon or Netflix and go, "What's the rating? 1 star? Sign me up." I do have a love of those like bad horror movies. There's some really good ones. I was just thinking of rewatching. We watched one called, I think it's called American Poltergeist 2. And the whole premise is that these college kids move into this house that is, it turns out the twist is that it's the, what's her name? Lizzie Borden house. And her spirit is still there. And it possesses them and chases them around. And it's just, it looks like, when the movie starts, it looks like a bad, like just a bad home video. I mean, it looks like home video, but even worse. Like them arriving at the house and going like, "Oh my god, the house is so great!" Like the acting is, if you can call it that, and whatever. I'm not making fun of anyone in the movie, but like the movie just doesn't work, and it's so funny. And the logic of the movie makes no sense. It's so funny, and it looks terrible. We were having, the first night we watched it, we were having internet problems, so I could only get it at like 400p or something, and like it almost didn't matter. Like it looked terrible, and it was like that wouldn't help it. Yeah, that's a good one. Check that one out. American Poltergeist 2, I think is what it's called. And apparently there are other movies in the American Poltergeist series that are not even related. They just have the same name. I need to get the real answers, but like it's such a generic name. I don't know. And like, why bother? I don't know. It's just funny. Oh, good stuff. Well, I might have rambled enough this time. I'm sure I can think of 100 other things to talk about, but I'll give my throat a rest, and we'll see. We'll see if another one of these happens. Yeah. Thanks for checking it out, and let me know what you liked, what you agreed with, if you didn't agree. If you have any suggestions, something you want me to talk about, if you want my opinion on something, I don't know why you would, but if you did, let me know. Thanks for listening. May the force be with you. Stay groovy. Blah, blah, blah. I love you deeply. Bye.